look? Is that a beard or what do we got going?
This is 2 weeks of laziness. This is 2 weeks into the off-season program. Not really worrying about it yet.
Bernard was just talking about JJ McCarthy. What do you see? You've been around a lot of quarterbacks since you've been here. What do you see in your short time?
Well, first off, the energy he brings to the building every day is infectious. You can tell he wants it really bad. He does all the right things. He was here all winter. Got his knee fully healthy, and he looks fully healthy to me. I don't know if you got to ask the trainers or KO how he's doing, but he's out there running around, throwing it around, and it's good to have him in, a lot more meetings. He was in a lot of the quarterback meetings last year, but it's good to have him in our meetings. I mean, we went over our entire snap count, roster today with him of all the different snap counts we do, and so it's good to kind of have that interactions with him, knowing going in he's going to be the guy.
Brian, when you say our meetings, you talking offense wide or offensive line specifically?
This was offensive wide, yeah. Gotcha. Just like, huddle mechanics. Like we're starting kind of every year. You kind of start from the ground up, and I think it's the best way to do it. Like you don't want to just jump ahead and assume everybody knows the snap counts, the huddle alignments, the different basic formations. You kind of want to build it from scratch every single year, and it's been fun to kind of start that process with him for sure.
Brian, how long did it take you to kind of get over the way things ended last year?
Longer than it probably should have, but I don't know, probably 2-3 weeks. You hang out for 2-3 weeks, kind of get away, get out of the building a little bit, and then kind of when you start training again, about the day after the Super Bowl, you're like, all right, I can't really worry about that anymore. But you definitely had some time to digest it, and that one was a little harder pill to swallow than previous ones.
What was it like for you in March, watching some of your teammates you knew so well go, and then having new guys come in?
That's part of the business, right? It's happened basically every year since I've been here. There's guys that I've been close to, that built really good relationships with, that moved on and found great spots and found great homes. And, that's the name of the game, right? The team's always trying to get better. That's the environment you want to play in. That's the kind of team you want to play for. That's always striving to get better and improve and make the roster better. And, they're not doing their job if they're not looking for my replacement at some point, for CJ's replacement at some point, for everybody's replacement, right? Like the job is for them to continually push the needle to make this place as best as it possibly can be. And so, that's the environment you want. That's the competitive nature you want of we want the best and we're going to try to get the best. And, you want to be held to a high expectation. And I think you feel that a little bit more this spring so far.
What do you know so far about the new guys like Ryan and Will? You spent much time with them so far?
Yeah, for sure. We got out and played some golf last week. Obviously, we're in the O-line meetings every day. Have had a lot of respect for Ryan, just kind of following his career. Got to meet him a couple times over the years, whether we played him or at different NFL events. So a ton of respect for him. And then obviously getting into Will, we've kind of started to watch film together, kind of understand how each other plays. It's going to take some time and some reps for all three of us and all five of us really to get, to be one cohesive unit. And one of the things our line coach said is, hey, you might have to say things more plainly at the beginning, but, hopefully we can play together for a long time. And there's kind of like, you just kind of give them a look and you're ready to go. And so it's on us to, kind of start at the baseline and build it up the right way so that maybe we can just give each other a look and we know what each other's thinking and how we're going to go about trying to do something. But, I'm really excited for those two guys. Will's a big dude. The first thing I shook his hand, I was like, oh, okay. I'm really excited about them.
How's your golf game?
Work in progress.
I know you mentioned that you guys all have to continue to work to be cohesive as a unit. Does it help at all though that Ryan and Will played together before coming here?
Yeah, for sure. And they can. One of the things I've tried to be cognizant of is not just telling them how we've done it here in this offense, right? Like allow them to bring their ideas to the table, or those two can talk about, hey, this is how we see this, because there is going to be a new quarterback, and there is going to be a new center, and there is going to be a new guard, and there is going to be new pieces out there. So kind of building this version of this year's team is going to be really important. And, obviously those two new guys and JJ are going to be a really big part of building something new. So we can't get caught in this mindset of this is how we've done it in the past, because the past wasn't good enough. So we got to build it now and build it the right way.
What's your contact been like with Donovan Jackson so far?
I was actually fortunate enough. Me and my wife went to dinner with him, his girlfriend, his parents, and 2 staffers here on Friday after he was in the building. Had a good time and got to know his family. So, yeah.
Brian Jonathan was saying one of his terms is more is required, and you just even mentioned like last year wasn't good enough. Do you have a terminology you either use personally or the O-line does, something like that?
I mean, that's the terminology that's hanging up on the T-shirt as soon as we all got into our locker. But it makes sense, right? Like, if we want a better result, we have to do more. Josh McCown in the offensive meeting today kind of gave the analogy of a scale, like the balancing scales that they used to use. And it was like, if whatever you want is out there, a division title, Super Bowl, NFC title, whatever it is, right? And that's there. You got to put a whole lot of stuff in this other side to even it out and make those scales even to be able to make that valuable worth it. And so, more is required because clearly that scale hasn't been tipped for us yet, and we need to find a way to make that happen.
Obviously, the other side of the ball, but like, what does it mean to have Harry coming back for a 14th season? Not only to come back, but like the fact that he sees, what he wants to see here that wants him to.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a great point, right? He wouldn't come back if he didn't think there was a chance. And so, clearly he sees a chance, and clearly, I believe there's a chance. You go in every year thinking you can win the whole thing, and I certainly do. But love playing with that guy. I was sitting next to him on the plane ride home from Arizona, whatever, and the Rams, Arizona. And it felt like he was done to me. And then I kind of saw him the next day, and he kind of had a little look in his eye that maybe there was something unfinished. So I'm really happy to be playing with him again, and was really excited to see him the other day.
Along those lines, like what challenges, if any, are there to trying to make that run with a first-year starting quarterback?
Haven't done it yet,
Yeah.
so that's a hard one to answer. I think. It was Sam's first year starting for us last year, and we got a look at it and didn't really capitalize, but we kind of saw going into the last few weeks what was out there. Clearly didn't capitalize on it, but hopefully I'll be able to answer that question in a few months after we've been on the field for a while. But I think you got to take the mindset of try to take as much of the things off any new quarterback's plate, right? How do we, as an O-line, play as cohesively as possible? How do, I can't be worried about his fires if I'm not putting out my own fires, right? Like, the best thing I can do for him is give a clean pocket every single time. So that's kind of one of the, messages is, how do we all individually raise our level of play on the field? Not necessarily throughout the building, but how do we make the football part of actually playing football become better and greater?
Donovan Jackson, him going in the middle of a season from guard and having to play left tackle, like from an offensive lineman's perspective, like how hard would that be, or what does that mean when a guy can do that?
It's really hard. I have a lot of respect for guys who can do that or play either side. I remember my third year, about a week before the first game, we weren't sure if Riley Reef was still going to be here, and they said, "Hey, if he's not here, you're playing left tackle." And I was freaking out. And I played it in college, and I was like, "That's not going to go well for anybody involved here." So I have a ton of respect for somebody to be able to do that. And talking to him, it was the starting left tackle got hurt, and then the backup left tackle got hurt, and then his first game at left tackle's at Penn State on a whiteout against the number 3 overall draft pick or whatever. And so he was like, that was kind of an experience. But, for anybody to be able to do that, switching sides, kicking from inside to outside, outside to inside, it's really hard. I haven't been asked to do it. And so better him than me, I guess.
Brian, what's it like to, be with Chris Cooper as long as you have? Like, what is the benefit of that, and just how has your relationship with him grown over the years?
I love having him as my O-line coach. The the rest of the coaching staff, like the front office, they know how I feel about Coop, and make sure I point to, end of the year meetings, whatever. That's my guy. I love playing for him, and our relationships evolved a little bit. He can, now that he's known me for a couple of years, he can get after me a little bit more than maybe he thought he could at the beginning or whatever. And we kind of see things the same way. He can shoot me straight and tell me that wasn't good enough, and I just take it on the chin and keep it moving. And he's kind of continually found ways to push me to get better in different areas of my game. So I'll be, as we get on the grass next week, I'll be, I'm sure he'll have a few things for me that, that wasn't good enough last year, and here's how we need to take your game from here to here. I really respect his way of coaching and how he handles the guys.
How important is it for him to be, like you said, open-minded, like with Will and Ryan, say, hey, this is what we've done? Because some coaches say it's my way or the highway, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that he's listening to others and kind of indoctrinated, how can that help you guys?
I think it helps a lot. I mean, he played for 8 years, so he's played for multiple O-line coaches. He's coached on staffs with different O-line coaches and coached on staffs with different coordinators, and he understands that, those guys have played football at a high level for, Ryan for a really long time and Will for a good amount of time. So, and I think he's always, one of the things he's really good at is there's things he coaches Christian Darrisaw to do that are different than me. There's things Christian can do that I can't, and vice versa. So he understands his personnel, and he's able to kind of work with them differently based on what they're able to do. And we talked about it the other day, different techniques that we're going to start trying next week. Whereas, hey, this technique might not be for you. It might be for CD. It might be for Donovan Jackson. It might be for Will, whatever. You find what works for you, and he helps work it with you to find the way to make you the best player.
Let's go.
What did it mean to just have Aaron Jones come back here?
That's great. He's the man. I don't know if I said it enough last year. He's one of the best teammates we've had here. And just, the positive energy he brings, the spark out of the backfield. I think our run game took a step last year. I think we still have certainly some more room to grow, but he was probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, reasons for that jump last year, and I'm super stoked to have him back.
Do you want to run the ball more as an offense? You got a quarterback that hasn't played in the NFL before. Aaron's talking about revaluation of running backs last week with Saquon Barkley and all that. Would you like to have that a bigger part of your identity, where you guys just line it up and run it?
If you asked me that 3 years ago, I might have said yes. I want to score 35 points and win every game. So, at this point, I don't really care. Not to be a short answer, but I want to win. And, however that happens, I'm good with. Whatever we need to do to score more than one more point than the other team, at this point, if that's throwing it 75 times, if that's running it 75 times, let's go. We gotta make something shake here.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.